Well, that was an interesting Canadian Grand Prix, wasn't it? I'm recording this very quickly after the race is finished, and I know that there's open investigations over certain drivers to the point where even people finishing as low as 7th could get a podium. Keeping an eye on the news, make sure that that doesn't happen as such, or any breaking news we will obviously talk about. But we are going to assume that how they finish on the track is how they finished in real life. So, similar to the last review that we did, yes, there is one big news story, but we will address that right at the end. I want to talk about the 3 winners, let's say, of the race. A little side story I'm seeing, and then the big one, right? Fair enough. So let's start off with those 3 big winners. So for me, I've picked out firstly Esteban Ocon, qualified in 15th, got himself some nice points, doing all right, making the use of the Haas. No special driving or anything like that, but aggressive, did as well as he could. I think, was it 9th place he got in the end, or 10th? One of the two. He did all right considering where he qualified. By the way, honourable mention as well to Carlos Sainz as well. Similar sort of thing. A big shout out to Nico Hulkenberg, though. Again, finishing 8th, which considering where he qualified, maybe doesn't stand out. But this wasn't like a lucky result. The fact is that first stint that he did on the medium tyres, I think it was about 20, 25 laps on the medium tyres. Really extended that stint, really did well, and fully deserved his points finish. He very much looked after the car. Be interesting to see if he did a one-stop race, but absolutely amazing from Nico Hulkenberg. Props to him. He's slowly becoming like one of the I'd say one of the standout drivers this year, just in his quality. He's probably not going to get a podium at the end of it, but I've been wrong about that sort of thing before. So, I mean, who knows? Who knows? And lastly, I want to talk about Kimi Antonelli. Speaking of podiums, that wasn't lucky, was it? That wasn't lucky from Kimi Antonelli. I know that big teams crashed out, but Antonelli from the start showed how good he was. That first lap took advantage of the situation that was going on where Russell and Verstappen were battling. Piastri was being reserved, and Antonelli went, okay, I'll have your position from Piastri. Absolutely amazing. Held off Piastri at the end of the race as well. I think if the race had continued, I think he would have continued to hold off Piastri as well for that podium. And especially with Norris battling Piastri, if it had stayed clean as it did. So, yeah, fully deserved that podium. Third youngest on a podium as well. Really well done. And got his first taste of champagne. I hope he was old enough to be able to drink it. Anyways, moving on to the side story before the main event. Alex Albon. Now, I started this theory in the last video. Is Alex Albon entering his villain arc? Do you remember when Alex Albon first joined? First joined the AlphaTauri, got promoted to Red Bull, yes, too soon, but all of that. He was a smiley guy. Everything was fine. Even when he was getting demoted, everything was fine. It's like, yeah, I'll just deal with the next race. Yes, I'll just deal with the next race. Starts off in Williams, and everything's fine. This year, he just seems a bit more sarky, sassy. Now, I don't know if this is because he's now got some competition, whether it's because he feels like he's being let down by the team and they're focusing more on Carlos Sainz. But it just seems the bite back. James Howells in the race made it seem like they were just extending everything like that, but it didn't feel like Williams was extending. Felt like they were going to give him one of the worst strategies in his mind, and he was biting back and saying, "No, I'm extending. If this is where you're gonna, if this is when you're gonna pit me, then we're not going to do it." So yeah, just really, really sad. A little bit of breaking news, not in terms of the incident, but it was a bit of a confusing one. They were talking about, Ferrari was talking to Hamilton that he was losing 20 points of downforce, which is the reason why he was off the pace. It turns out he hit a groundhog. Oh dear. A groundhog's what? Do you know what? I have to say, the bravery of some animals. Like, you can clearly see there's these big machines running really fast across the track, and you're gonna run across it. Take it. Anyways, but yeah, sad about the the groundhog. R.I.P. R.I.P. to Gary the groundhog. I don't know why I'm just giving him a name. I just thought it'd be funny. But anyways, should we talk about the big one? Shall we talk about it? The McLaren incident. This, to me, this race showed exactly where Norris is going wrong and why, if he carries on like this, he will not be a world champion. Now, this particular image might be obvious, right? Because he crashed in the back of Piastri, damaged his own car, wrecked his own race, didn't ruin anything in terms of Piastri and his position, but but even before then, Norris was. He wasn't mature about this. I want to sort of compare the two here, right? At the start of the race, when Oscar Piastri got overtaken by Kimi Antonelli, he was not darting down or anything like that. It was like, I'm going to keep a measure, just keep my own race going, everything like that. Now, Norris, to his credit, recovered from his bad qualifying yesterday. So the fact that he was behind Piastri in the first place is a good thing, right? But those last, 3 laps, 4 laps? I saw something from Norris which he needs to iron out. Like, he was doing these sort of fake moves down the inside, which all it was doing was just damaging his tyres. All it was doing was reducing the speeds that he could get from the next corner, which gave Piastri time to recover. And it was basically a case of, if Piastri didn't react, which he didn't, then all Norris was doing was just harming his own race. Martin Brundle mentioned it a couple of times. You just need to keep smooth, keep flowing. If you think that there's almost like a less than 50% chance you're going to overtake, then don't go for it and get ready for a bigger chance of an overtake. I'm almost convinced that those 2 laps previous, if Norris hadn't done that dart down the inside that he did to try and overtake, then he could have had a run down that first corner on the lap. But then we come to lap 68, this particular scenario. Well, lap 68/69. Well, hey. Now, I'm going to hold my hands up here. That move from Norris in the hairpin was brilliant. Unexpected. Oscar Piastri didn't expect it. It was a good overtake. Brilliant overtake. And there's a nice battle between the two of them for a few corners. Very well done from both of them. Kimi Antonelli had the best seat in the house in terms of seeing it in his mirrors. Really well done. But if you were to ask me who is more like, and look, this is going to make me sound like a genius, but I've been thinking about this for a long time. But it always feels to me more likely that Norris does something like this than Piastri does something like this. It's almost like when he, and I don't know how he's thinking, I'm only second guessing how he's thinking, but it's almost like when he's focused in on the race battle, that he's not fully aware of his surroundings. Now, whether that in terms of the gap, whether he misjudged where the wall was and so then tried to dive back, and by that time his wing had hit the wheel and everything like that, I don't know. But throughout all of this, as so many are pointing out, the perfect place to overtake would have been to the right. Would have been to do something like a jinx to the left to go right, that sort of thing. Norris did the jinx to the left, but then didn't do it to go right. So, are we seeing a bit of rookieism? Like, it genuinely feels like Oscar Piastri is the more experienced driver, and Lando Norris is the rookie. Now, there could be multiple reasons for that in terms of Oscar Piastri, for a lot of his, or has more recently been battling at the front of tracks than Lando Norris has, in the sense that Lando Norris, for a few years, was doing well to finish in 7th during the years past, and maybe the use of being used to running in the midfield has harmed his chances, but it just feels like he needs to iron this out. And for good reason as well, because right now, as much as, yes, they finished 4th, Camp Piastri, including Mark Webber, are looking at this and going, we got the number 1 driver here. We've got the psychological advantage. That thing of, we have a driver behind us that as long as we do everything predictably, they don't have a chance. And Lando's messed up. If McLaren are going to be this top team, and obviously the regulation change next year could change that, but yeah, it just feels like Oscar Piastri is going to be the more likely to win world championships. And he is just more measured, more cool, more calm, more collected. In the meantime, Lando Norris just seems to be in this downward spiral where he qualifies poorly and then he gets himself up in a silly incident. His words, not mine. He's the one that ends up hurting his own race chances while his competitor gets off scot-free. I don't know. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this as well, guys, by the way, in the chat, where this Oscar Piastri Lando Norris dynamic is going. it all seems very friendly, and I think it is very friendly, but it just seems in the background, Oscar Piastri's got Lando Norris's number. I mean, it's an easy number, it's 4, but it just seems to be too easy. But that's my thoughts anyway. Let me know your big stories, your thoughts, your opinions on the Canadian Grand Prix. And we've got a couple of weeks until Austria, where I'm sure things will get spicy again. We know what happened last year in Austria. But until that next time, guys, take care of yourselves and see you around. Okay. That's all that. That's all that. Now, can I risk? I think I have to load too many things up. That might be the reason why I'm struggling so much. Let me do a stop sharing on this now. Maybe that will help me as well. I have to do so much these days. The other thing I probably need to do is start to clear my downloads, because I have to download and re-upload all my files. So give me a second. That's probably not helping either. Because see, I don't transfer over videos over. I download them and re-upload them. It's different. I know. Right, that's that. Okay. Yeah. That might help things. So what do we do? I don't know, dear. We can relax, I think. So yeah, I will upload the video shortly, guys, and see you guys around.